Hello, everybody. It's already another week has gone. How time flies, isn't it? I hope you have a good time. We are back again with another live stream. And last week we finished. I was really in a bubble, and I was with the ring modulation, and we caught up in the ring modulation. And inside Blade 2, the ring modulation you can do in the filter, and it has some interesting sounds. So what I did is, first of all, you see up here the readout, you see frequency, it's set to 110 hertz. So essentially, it's tuned, and it should be for 4220. It's should be A2. And you see the keyboard follower is 100%, so it follows the keyboard. And the Q is essentially the amount of ring modulation. And by using the modulation wheel, which is set to only 10%, I can really make it go distorted and then go back a bit to normal. So if it's correctly, you can see my keyboard again in the upper screen. Yeah, it's visible. Maybe I should make this one go a bit more here. And here it comes. Cool, huh? Well, the ring modulation, people might know it also from Vangelis. When you have the CS80, on the left side, you have this ring modulation, and you could throw this up, so the amount, and it used a sinus waveform to ring modulate the oscillators inside of it. And this sounds a bit like it. Okay, I to adjust my volume. Yeah, everybody, I hope everybody's okay. We had, of course, a busy time now. We had a nice deal for people who missed it. We have GoTo. My idea was essentially to make GoTo a synthesizer for people to start getting into the Papen world of synthesizers. And, of course, for everybody who likes a cool synthesizer. And that goes well. And so that appeared last Friday. People call it Black Friday until Cyber Monday. I don't like that sound of it. It sounds so. We called it Inspiration Friday until Mix Friday, and we had also a bit of discount on our regular products. And now we're back again. We're working on Blade 2, the NKS, which is now in review by Native Instruments. So hopefully we get good news very soon that we can release Blade 2 also with NKS support. What we also did is, when you go to the manager, let me see. We had discussed this Rolly keyboard. And so in the modulation matrix, we also did it that you can use controller 113 and 114, which are on the Rolly keyboard, the XY controllers. And then you can change the X and Y position. So we're working on this one. And once we release Blade 2 with the NKS, I will have some presets with which are dedicated to this polyphonic expression, the MPE, for the Rolly keyboard, or if you have the blocks. So that's in progress. Then I received a very nice demo from Tom again, and this one is very cool. I need to let that one listen to you. I like it because it's different. It's really a bit fusion jazzy. The only thing which is a bit pity, once the lead sound comes in, it sounds a bit distorted, and that's a bit pity, but maybe Tom can mix it again and fix that. So let's see, let's play it. Enjoy it. It's I think it's Punch 2 and Blade 2. Yeah, cool, isn't it? Really, a fusion. A friend of mine can play this also very well. I need to send it to him. He will most likely enjoy it as well. So Tom, it's Blade 2 and only Blade 2 only together with Punch 2. And yeah, it's I love this little snare inside of it. Very, very, very punchy. Yeah, funky fusion type. I need to play it again because I really enjoyed it. It's really, it's hard to not to move with that. Yeah, Herbie Hancock. Yes, definitely. And yeah, only pity that this lead sound which comes in sounds a bit distorted. Could be in a mix. Maybe it's on purpose. I don't know. Maybe you can explain it a bit in the chat room, Tom. So, but I played again. Yeah, indeed, Prince, also kind of Princey stuff inside of it. So I played again because it's really definitely way cool. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's yeah, maybe this lead guitar lead. Well, it doesn't come fully to. It sounds a bit like it's a distorted recording, but apart from that, really absolutely lovely. Yeah, I really love it. So maybe Tom, if you could mix it again with this lead, maybe a bit less distorted, that would be cool. Somebody calls it Future Shock era. Hi-hat, Future Shock era. Yeah, people throw all kind of music ideas, but I've very creative track, very nice. So love to upload it. Yeah, then of course we have a design session today. I wanted to show you a few things because one guy emailed me. Yeah, Rob, sometimes it's maybe interesting if you show already some things which you are working on. And as mentioned, we work on the let's see, the SubBoomBass 2 update. And here you see how I work. And then what we do is mostly I use a very cheap graphic program to put in my new ideas. And of course, the biggest addition, which you will find already in Blade 2, is this ratcheting. So I made a layout for a graphic designer so that he can adapt to this. So you see here, okay, let me see that you see it all. Here you see this is the current size of this A, B, C, and D because the sequencer can have 4 patterns. So I thought, yeah, that could be bigger. So as it is now, so it should be bigger. So I made it bigger then. I blew it up a bit. And I placed edit below it because then it sees what you do edit. Do you edit the patterns? Do you edit C, A, B, or C? And then you see there are some panel lights which go to the play mode, and that's how it plays. And then what also would be handy is that there would be a display of what is playing. And that's also the new idea is that I thought, okay, let's make here playing and then sequence A so that you, for instance, if you are in a particular field here, you simply will see what is playing at that time, sequence A, B, C, or D. So, and then of course you see that on the right side we have the dials, swing, slide, velocity keyboard, step length, but also velocity ratcheting, which you maybe know already from Blade 2. is that you can use here ratcheting per step, and you can make it also respond to velocity. And you see ratcheting mode is in this case off. This is purely a mock-up. So this is how the new sequencer, if we release the update, is gonna be. You see this latches normally already inside, so that you have a sustain pedal type of thing. Key entry, we make it also the case that it takes the velocity, and if you have this played fully to the 16th step, that it stops, and that kind of little improvement. So this is how we work. I make then mostly a image like this, and then the graphic designer can start on this. And then you also can see that we have here in the other page, which is the pattern page. So if you start editing the pattern page, you can say step 1, play first A, and then B, C, and you can make a whole range of 16 steps of how the 4 sequences played. And there it missed something which I added here. So the numbers of steps were not displayed, if I'm not wrong. So that's going to be added here, and that's, for instance, how we work in practice. Checking the chat room. So that about SubBoomBass 2. What we also do in SubBoomBass 2, which is already what I played last time, is we add a new range of samples, but also we will have, because here is a beta version already, and you see here in my, you already see ratcheting, but it's not, this is not the correct mock-up. This is a what Jon did so that we can work with it and try it out. But we also have then new filter types. So the zero latency filter types are then also inside the new version of SubBoomBass 2. So let me play it. I believe I played already. So now you hear the and by the way, if you listen to the envelope, we have very fast envelopes. So these are the new filter types. We did also something in the code in some areas which came over from BIT. Although I must say that SubBoomBass 2 already had a very optimized code. Then we have distortion, which is pre-filter. You see different filter types. Here we will have also a filter type which is called post. And this post filter type is the one you know from BIT. So if you go to BIT, you see here the amp section, you have this distortion. And we add this also to SubBoomBass 2, but we had no room for it here in the amp section. So because we have this little box here which is called distortion, that will be then also the post distortion. So so you have then also a distortion post in the SubBoomBass 2. Then of course we will have a new range of samples. You see all kind of samples here, samples 1, 2, 3. There will be a new one, sample set 4, which is going to be the tabla. And the tabla, of course, we have a very range, high quality samples tabla, and I'm picking them out now for getting them in the right tuning, and that they are useful for being musical used in SubBoomBass 2. So a tabla has, of course, a kind of pitch change in it, but so we're picking out now these samples which are useful in SubBoomBass 2, because yeah, here if you have take oscillator 2, okay, I don't have any sound yet. So you can pick here taiko or conga, but these are tuned. A tube sound. It's a bit too. It's sounding a bit strange because of the filter. But it's tuned and you can even use the sub oscillator. And that's cool, of course, with SubBoomBass. You not only have the basics waveform, like a saw waveform, but you have a range of samples which are tuned and which have a very interesting sound to it, which makes that you can create some total new sounds. It's, by the way, it's best cool, this tube in combination. Maybe a different filter type. And you also can hear the ratcheting. Okay, here comes the ratcheting. It's here on step 2, 2 times on step 6. And see ratcheting is mode, and there we also have these different cycles, so 2 off, 1 on, and that kind of thing. Okay, let's see. Now it plays again. Okay, so yeah, that's the plan for SubBoomBass 2. Let's go to the chat room. Aha, somebody from Greece, from Athens. And he's writing Netherlands. That's cool. Yes, the new sequencer layout, definitely. This is, of course, the mockup, therefore it looks a bit strange, but this is how it's going to be. And again, I will show it again what the plans are. So here, this is what it's going to be very soon. Included some new presets, some new built-in samples, new filter types. Yeah, that kind of thing. So look out for the very cool update for SubBoomBass 2. Okay, well then we work on Predator 3. Yes, before we release Blue 3, we will release Predator 3. There's a reason for it, because I want to change the graphics. And I show you a mockup, and it's ugly, but it's a mockup. Because what it's going to change is that, you see, it's going to be a bit wider, which makes it, and you see that the 2 filters from Predator will be always visible. Also the 2 filter envelopes, you see here the high pass filter, you see the amp section is going down and 3FX. The play mode, so if you play ARP or polyphonic or legato, will be in this lower section. So you see I press it here, play mode. It's of course a mock-up, so it doesn't look that wide. But you also see that there is a change in the oscillator section. In the oscillator section, we have many controls, but what will be is that the morphing, we put that behind a panel, just like we do in BIT, so that you can open this panel and or you see a waveform displayed, as you can see in BIT, or you show the controllers if you are using morph. So if you don't use morphing, you see here, it's gone. And if you start morphing, it appears, yeah, then you can adjust it. So so it's going to be wider. It's more in size of Blade 2. And it's a bit more in user interface, a bit different. So we're working very hard on this one. Included some new presets, some new other features. So Predator 3 will be somewhere, hopefully before the summer of 2021. We hope to release Predator 3. And later that year, Blue 3 also will come. But that's a bit more work. We're working already on some ideas for Blue 3. But Blue 3 is far more work than creating Predator 3. So that's the reason why we first start on the Predator. Okay. So if you look here at BIT, there you see this thing what we're going to do in Predator 3, because here you can see this is the normal page and it can go advanced. These are things you can use inside BIT, but if you don't want to use it, it simply displays the waveform. So you see that some ideas which pop up in other synthesizers, then I think, oh yeah, that will be even nicer if you would use that kind of idea also inside of Predator. So we're going to do that. There's a, by the way, nice video from BIT, somebody who explains BIT. You can check it out. I shared it on Facebook. Hit the link to his video. So check it out. Give them a thumbs up if you like it. Okay. So let's go back to the chat room and see what you guys have to tell me. Oops. Here we go again. So this is open. Of course, you see here by the way, this is what we're doing in all our future updates. You see here in Blade 2, in the upper corner, you see these three little lines, which is indicating that there is a menu. Here you can select the size of the user interface. You need to reload your song to make it effective. You can select dial envelopes instead of the graphic envelopes. So if I select it, you see here we have dial envelopes. I'll go back to graphic. Yes. Then there is, you can turn MIDI external capture mode on off, MIDI program change on off, about Blade 2. Then you see, yeah, general information about the plugin. And then, of course, what we will have new is check for updates. I'm not sure what is happening now. There is a newer version of Blade 2 available. Aha. So this is a new feature what we have. So you also in the plugin, you can check if there is maybe an update. So we're working also on that feature. It's not the case that it pops up automatically because we never know if somebody has internet connection or not. So it's up to you to check if there is an update. Okay. So let me see if there's maybe a question in the chat room. Okay, I'm reading the chat room. 1 second. Yeah, okay. The scaling, key scaling in Blade. Well, there is the case. That's a good question. If you have a sound like here, synth. So let's go to a regular synth sound. Go to the newer ones. Back panel. Here you can see the tuning. You can go with general tuning going lower or higher. And then there is a tuning scale. Let's see if we could have. And of course it's global. Let's see if this is indeed Arabic. That's also possible. And of course the standard we pick. So these are the tuning scales. Reset, of course, brings it to then you see here the screen sections. So for different tuning, that will be the go. Okay, someone's asking about, is Predator 3 backwards compatible? Well, you can load in Predator 2 sounds, Predator 1 sounds, so that's possible. If you would make it that it overrides Predator 2, so you have two options. You can have a program and a new program, which is the updates. Like we have now, we have Predator 1 and have Predator 2, and there will be then Predator 3. You also could say we override Predator 2 with Predator 3. That could be an option. Maybe it is possible, but if there are too many new features, that it's too much of a risk getting problems. So maybe it's that way, but we need to see that, or we first lay out everything so that we are clear what to do. Okay, you need brighter. Okay, so keyboard scaling. Okay, about the scaling. Yeah, in general about Blue 3 is that we make it the case that people can load in their own samples, and that's a big job to arrange. And the other things are then, of course, we will have the bank manager like Blade 2. The original Blue 2 still has these banks with 128 presets, so the older original VST system, which one bank has 128 presets, just like a hardware synthesizer, but we will use also in Blue 3 then a single files which are presets. So the bank manager will be the same like Blade 2 and all the recent plugins. Then of course we do some additional synthesis inside a Blue 3, which popped up already in my mind, but we need to work it out. So you will be surprised, but that will be really at the end of next year, because it's quite some work. Okay, I'm checking here. The brighter to go for higher notes. Yeah, I mean, the key follow. For instance, if I go here to a default preset, so I go here down in the blank, I have a default preset. And let's say I have here the harmonizer, which is and this one goes to the filter. I can close the filter. And you see key tracking is already here open with 100%, so I go back to 0 here. When I play higher, below in this lower keyboard range, the sound can be okay. But the higher I play, it's getting muddy. So I need to use keyboard tracking so that, hear the difference? It gets brighter. So key follow in the filter is that you follow the keyboard, because this cutoff setting, which is maybe good here, is not good here. So I need to tell the filter to go up because I play higher. So therefore it's key follow. Yeah, what we do next year also, yeah, Blue 3, I'm sorry, it takes much time to develop, because in Blue 2 there's already so many things, and yeah, it takes always a bit longer now. It's easy if you have a version 1 to version 2, it's a bit easier than from version 2 to version 3, because version 2 is maybe already very sophisticated. Yeah, it's a bit more time consuming, and of course we want to do it right. So you see, Blade 1 to Blade 2 took also quite some time to develop. It I think overall and totally, I think almost a year in general, about thinking about it, laying out things, testing out things, putting things together. A granular synth. Yeah, I really not dived into that too much. We had, of course, granular inside or punch 2 on drums, which can be very interesting. But maybe we could do this in Blue 3 because there are some samples on board which you could do maybe some very interesting things. So these are all things which pop up and which we dive into it. So it's takes a bit of work, but it's I think it will worth waiting for Blue 3 at the end. And maybe it's earlier, you never know. I think if the other things are going well, it's maybe earlier. Okay. So I'm looking at the chat room. Yeah, this about the keyboard tracking. If you would have, for instance, maybe you don't know. Yeah, granular in Blue 3 makes sense. Yeah, definitely, because it has already samples on board. So we could make that also granular. Yeah, there are 2 other plugins which are already in beta, but I cannot tell you about it because that will be early next year. We will have at least, next to Predator 3, we will have 2 other FX, and it's gonna be very cool. One is a bit more simpler but awesome, and the other one is yeah, if somebody already mentioned it, then we are working on it. So okay, let me see. Because we talked about this, let's go to, what shall we take? Oh yeah, let me show you. Maybe here. Because here you can see tracking in the oscillator. You can put it off. So then it doesn't matter where I play. It's not tracking the pitch. You still can use here MIDI source note here, and then control that one again back to oscillator 1 semi. Then it should be okay again. Of course, need to open it. Not fully. Maybe then I need to have a global tune. Ah, that's a good one. You need to have more amount for this. I think 72 semi. So you could make, go with a bit up down. Essentially, a modular synthesizer is like this. You really pick the output from a keyboard, which is CV out. You put it into an oscillator, and then it starts playing melody. And here in the synthesizer, you don't see this connection. You don't see the the cable, but here there's a button, you click it on, and it connects the keyboard to your oscillator. So from that point on, it's it's a synthesizer modular. It's only modular because maybe you have a bit more freedom, but you have all these cables. And BIT is by all means modular because you can connect so many things to each other. And so even if you have here a source like pink noise, you can pink noise to the oscillator. And if you think that is not deep enough, you pick it again. Pink noise. Again to oscillator 1 semi. I go over. Sounds a bit like water, isn't it? Rain. Maybe even more. Let's go over the top. 3 times pink noise as modulation source. Why not? Yeah, you could make also kind of screech sound with that, I think. A bit too much. Well, it's really... No, go stereo. Yeah, it's not fully a sound which is maybe useful. Low rumble. This just is like Dutch cafeteria making French potatoes. Okay, so yeah, so from that point, it's really modular. Sometimes I have some patches, which I call also modular. I named it somewhere modular. Let me see, where was it again? No. Let me see. I think it's in the arpeggiator bank. Here, modular sequence patch. So what happens here is that you have 2 oscillators. You have noise, and you see the noise is here split, so it goes into the second filter. And I see that oscillator envelope 2 controls the volume of this noise. So this noise is very short, and it's controlled by the oscillator 2 envelope, which is down here. Oh, sorry, up here. So now I use this envelope, which is not used in the oscillator itself, because you see nothing is connected. You see the amount is 0 everywhere, so it's not connected to the oscillator 2. But I use it in the modulation matrix to control the volume of this noise, make it shorter. So this is part 1. Then oscillator 1 goes to oscillator 1. And oscillator 2 goes to oscillator 2, if I'm not wrong. No, it goes to, I'm wrong. Split noise is that the oscillators 1 and 2 go to filter 1 and the noise goes to filter 2. So I'm wrong with that. So this is the filter 2 is doing the noise only. So now I already have a kind of Core MS-20 setup. 2 Core MS-20. And of course I can use I see also free LFO. That's this one. It's used to control the filter panning. Panning of this filter. Go left, right. Dark. Modulation wheel. So also can do is the modulation wheel. So when I okay. When I close the filter, that the noise goes up. So the filter is the bass, goes dark, and the noise goes up. So can you really make, and this is really modular patching. If this would be a modular synthesizer, this would be really a lot of cables, and then you even could say modulation wheel. Okay, here I go, modulation wheel. Here it is. I use that one to control the FX3 reverb or delay, you know, the delay mix. Okay, so it would increase the delay. Let's see what happens. Cool, isn't it? So modular, it's just what you do with it. The synthesizer has the option, but little tricks to do a lot of additional stuff. So the advanced panels, if you don't use them in the oscillators, you can use it otherwise. So okay, let's check. The chat room. Yeah, sure. Somebody, AFAX, the original, is asking the Unify. Sure, it can be used in Unify. I had it, but for some reason my activation is lost. I need to send John again a email so that I can show it also in the live stream. Unify, you can compare it with Prisma. Only you have unlimited amount of stacking, and you can stack everything together. So you could use a Omnisphere, you could use a Massive together with Predator or with Bit, or you can use any virtual instrument. So it's essentially stacking instruments. Yeah, it works. I have it and I need to reactivate it, and there is also a newer version, but I just only very shortly could play around with it. So when I do a live stream, I like to show it, of course, a bit more. But it's a very interesting additional plugin. It's very affordable, so check it out, this Unify plugin. What does the Harmod page do in Blade? Okay, let's go to blade 2 again. Need to open it. While the harm mod, this one, is only working, only active if the harmulator is active. So then you have this came over from the original blade that you can, which only had the harmulator. So the blade 2 has also the additive mode, oscillator and noise, but the original blade only has the harmulator. And then you can use velocity to control the harmulator, so the bass or the range or envelope, LFO, or a source. So if you go to the original Blade 2 preset, which starts with number 101, so you have, for instance, 101, Send 01, which is one of the original Blade presets, which, by the way, sound even better because we improved the code sound-wise, but also we have this newer, this newer reverb code. But this is Lost in Space. So now you see it's not activated here, but I could say activate velocity to the bass. Or symmetry. Let me see, it's maybe not. Maybe I should take another preset to show it a bit more. Okay, I think this is done by the XY. Let me shut down the XY. Harm mod. Here I can pick the LFO and address it directly to the. Weird sounds you get. So the harm mod is definitely only active if the harmulator is active. Maybe we should make it the case that if there is a preset which has the additive, is that you cannot select the harm mod, although that would maybe people think, hey, it's a bug, it's not working. But now it doesn't do anything, of course, because you could use it on the filter, that is still working. But the other ones are definitely only parameters which are the X and Y part you could use. But it's mainly for the harmulator. So this came over from the original blade. By the way, there's one sound I need to show you. Sometimes you run into a sound. Oh, this one. This is so cool. Violin down. Yeah, Mike, my son made this preset, and I think it's like they say, a lucky accident, but it sounds indeed like a violin down. It's ring modulation, comp filter, but really here like it's inspired on Hitchcock. And of course, then, well, this proves again that Blade 2 is a whole different synthesizer compared to what we just did with BIT or with Predator. Simply has its own focus, and now because of the new features, it's a bit more versatile. It improved in audio quality, and it's all different story. Let's see what the chat room has to say. Sounds like a space meow. Yeah, indeed, also. Yes, indeed, bit on the YouTube in the channel of Quanta. Yeah, and he goes in detail explaining about the synthesis parts of it. Is it any possibility to imitate realistic harmonics. Not sure how you mean that. So no, Healer Music is asking me, I think it's about Blade 2. Yeah, Blade 2 has, of course, harmonics. So if you go to, let's go to the default preset again. I'll go to default. Ugly sound, isn't it? But here we can go with the timbre. Then it picks the timbre, which you pick here. And then you could use, for instance, I'm checking here for the other ones. T-wave. I'm missing something here. Let's go to the additive because there it's maybe different labeled. Okay. Here you have vocal 2, which is essentially a vocal sound analyzed, and then it catches the harmonics. So it's built up using these harmonics. So, and if I change it, gone is the whole vocal sound. So I need to go back here too. But it's a very static sound. It's the same as having a saw waveform, which is of course also a static waveform. So what I do with additive synthesis with the resynthesis is that they take down, for instance, a sample, but take it longer. It's not only one wave like this, but then take a few seconds, and that is then reproduced. So essentially they put little waves after each other to reproduce the sound. It's far more CPU intensive than sampling. So resynthesis is, yeah, did lost a bit because of the sampling, because sampling is easier and resynthesis, you want to do something which is, for instance, an acoustic instrument, a piano or something like that. And then resynthesis piano would be far more complex and maybe also more CPU intensive compared to maybe making 5-6 gigabytes of piano samples, which then sound very realistic. Of course, with resynthesis, you could change things. You could say, okay, let's make this piano totally give a different waveforms, and then you got new sounds. But not everybody is waiting on these newer sounds. So resynthesis compared to sampling did lost it because sampling is more CPU friendly, and in the end some people are seeking a realistic sound. But here this is a static waveform of a which is also, let's see, here you see it a bit. And so you see, some of the timbres are really then a vocal, you know, and you see here we have some organ, which is really draw-bra. It's a bit of silly sound for organ. So yeah, with Blade 2, the cool thing is that in the additive mode, you can make a set of 4. So you can have 4 different waveforms, which you can move through with the XY pad. Which, for instance, I do here, this one. So now you have 4 waveforms. This is still a preset for the Aroli. So let's go back to normal poly mode. So here you see you have wave A, B, C, and D. And you, with this little blade, you go from wave A to wave B to wave C, D. Okay. Let's see what the chat room has to say. Organ sound pitched. Yeah, Blade 2, you cannot use it as a sampler. It has, of course, this feature in which allows you to analyze a sample, but then it picks really one cycle, only one fraction to analyze, hey, which harmonics are in this particular part, and then it generates a waveform. But this waveform remains static. But still, you make it not static by using the XY and all the features in Blade 2. So these sounds like the features. So it's just like with BIT, if you play the default preset. So let's go to, and that's of course the whole thing with synthesizers. It's if you go to a default preset. So this was this complex sound. You put all these parameters in action, but if you start out the default preset, it's not starting. You need to tweak the engine to make the sound alive, as if you have a string on a guitar. You need to, a string is of course a source for the sound, but you need to put it on the guitar. You need to play it. You need to adjust it to get the sound out of the guitar. So essentially, it's a plain field. A synthesizer, an empty synthesizer, is a plain thing. You need to to tweak and have fun. So from going from a simple saw wave sound to a what you would have a big synth sound. And the same is, of course, with Blade. Here you have a whole different construction. So, for instance, here you see vocal 04 is used, which is a timbre wave. Makes a nice pad sound. It sounds a bit like a vocal type of thing. So if you have this analyzed waveform, which is maybe from a choir or a vocal thing, then you need to work with the engine to get it the liveness into the sound. Oh yeah, sure. You could put the sound of Blade 2 into a glitch machine and whatever. Then you get some interesting things again. Yeah, definitely. You see the other ways. So with Blade 2, you really do different types of sounds compared with a BIT or the other synthesizers. And that's, of course, also for me the fun part, although otherwise I would be bored. There's always something new to discover. Okay, guys, time flies. It's again an hour. Amazing. Okay. Next week, I'll see you back. Hopefully, more news than about Prisma, because people ask about Prisma, if it's going to be compatible also with Blade 2. And we're working on that, but we also want to have that you can have Prisma in different user size, user interface size. So 100%, 125%, 150%, and 200%. So we're working also on Prisma. So that's definitely, most likely, almost 100% sure Prisma will be released, the update, in December. So I would say thank you for watching. If you have something, an idea for next week, let me know. We still need to do a ambient session. We had this question from somebody about this for how to make these kind of sounds, and yeah, maybe I can give you some tips on it. I need to check for this email again, but that's something for next week. And otherwise, drop me a note to info@robpapen.com, and I will look into it next week. Thank you for watching. Enjoy creating music and stay safe.